members need to understand that the AGM is for the members. It's not for us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't understand, if we are not taking your calls during the day, during the working hours, during the year, the AGM is the day that you come and you call us to order to say, guys, you are there because of us.
How many board members are we looking for?
This year we are only looking for 2.
Okay,
yes,
it's not bad.
Yes, it's not bad.
It's important for you to attend an AGM as a member. Please tell them why, so that they can know they can come and attend.
No, your vote is your voice.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing.
You sound like EFF.
Yeah.
You should have been a politician. Hello. Sanbonani Dumelang Abusheni. I don't know other languages. Forgive me. I don't want to sound like Crystal A.D. Bluff. We're not there. So welcome to another amazing interview, amazing podcast INbrief. Again, this is a podcast where we learn everything on all that you need to know about the Institute of Internal Auditors, the internal audit as a profession, all our risk control and governance safeguard, the soldiers, the Navy, the of governance. So now today we have an interesting guest, and her name is, you've heard her laugh. She's here. This is Nyasha Matsa, and she is the Group Company Secretary of the IIA SA. So now here's the thing. There's an AGM that's coming up. The AGM is on the 21st of November in Braamfontein at Liberty. Now, one of the benefits of being a member of any governing body is that you get the voting rights. There are certain decisions at board level or at any certain level that you need to be part of. There have been multiple adverts that renew your membership. So these governing bodies, they don't exist outside of you. So that's one of the greatest benefits of being a member. So meaning that you become one of the decision makers, you're part and parcel, contributing towards the career that you follow. So that you can have generations and generations to come that says, Swaneban membership number, well, that's private information, has actually contributed to our organization, to our careers through this and that. So that's one of the greatest benefits. Now, the person who ensures that all of this is happening is none other than Nyasha. Hello, Nyasha.
Hi, Masego. How
Did I
are
make
you?
you shy?
No way. Well, being shy is not part of my DNA.
Thank you. You see? Shyness goes nowhere.
No, it's not part of my DNA.
We've been observing you a lot in the Institute, right, for a couple of years, and we've been seeing you, and I don't think people know who you are.
Well, I guess today they will.
Tell us about Nyasha. Who's Nyasha? Where is she from? Where was she born? What's your favorite sport, if there's any? Tell us.
No, so there's a lot that comes with me, but I think the most important thing is I love having a good time in anything that I do, be it my work, be it family, be it anything. But then, I did my matric at Blue Hills College in Midrand. And then after Blue Hills, I went to the University of Venda. That's where I studied my LLB. And then I graduated in 2015. And then 2016, I worked at LS Attorneys. It's a law firm in Greenstone. That's when I started saving my articles. So I only did a year because they also asked us they were downsizing. So they said, if you find an opportunity, get it. But if you don't, you can stay. Yeah. So I had the opportunity of staying or leaving. So I started looking, and then I got a space at Tafara Kufa Incorporated, which is in conjunction with HG Law. Okay. So that law firm is based in North Riding. I did my second year of articles there, and then same time, you'll be doing, for people that know law, when you're doing articles, you also have to go to school, and then, in preparation of the board exams. Yeah. So I finished there, completed, and then wrote, and then I paused. Fortunately, it was here because it was work and it was also studying. But I think I learned the most during that time. So you'll see that big firms don't, usually they say, I don't know because I didn't work in a big firm, they say you don't really get the experience of doing everything.
I think it's true.
Yes, so when you do articles in a small law firm, you are the clerk, you are the driver, you draft, you do everything.
Yeah.
So fortunately for me, the first one was very small. The other one was medium. So I got to experience everything. I even started going to court. They would put you in the deep end. So I did that, and then I completed in 2018. That's when I got admitted as an attorney, and then I stayed there for 2 years as an associate. And then afterwards, that's when I joined the IIA SA family.
Before we talk about IIA SA, I have a lot of questions. Nyasha said a lot of things.
Yes.
So basically, you're one of those people that have rich people's problems. If you can check where you went to school, your first job, your first, like even vendor, that's the land of vegetation. You walk around the street, you pick a banana.
Talk about avocados, because
Do you still have friends that say, tell them you need avocados?
I do have friends.
Hello, Limpopians! When you go home January, you better bring me avocados. Is it that season?
Yeah,
It is.
No, I don't, I'm not really sure. I don't keep track of that.
Yeah.
But what I know is if I go to Limpopo, I will find them there.
Guys, the best of the best. I love Limpopo, guys. Maybe it's
Yeah.
because of somehow I'm related to, I don't know. But I love Limpopo.
Yeah.
So I have so many questions. Why law?
Also, initially, I actually wanted to study politics. I didn't want to study law. But then, our African parents, or my African parents.
Oh no, every African parent.
Yeah, so my dad sat me down. He said, no, you cannot do politics.
Yeah.
Then I said, but that's what I want to do. Then he says, no, you can study law, then become a politician. You can. So now you can't be a politician and actually do law. But you can be a lawyer and still be a politician.
Do you still think it's the same now? In terms of, because remember, people that study politics, the problem with our parents, they don't understand.
Yes.
And actually, to be honest, you make more money in politics.
Yes.
There's more growth
Opportunity
in politics,
exposure
in politics. And I think our parents don't know that.
Yes.
When they think politician, they're like EFF, red beret. It would be our own Nyasha who we spend so much money on, sitting there saying, you people.
Yeah, so my dad is the one that actually just said, no, you're not doing it. You are studying law and you can do politics. I'm paying for it, so you have to do it. So also in our family, there's this rule. You can be whatever you want to be under the sun, but you give them their certificate, then you can do whatever you want. So mine was to get the law certificate, and I did that. But I still stayed.
Guys, African parents, you need to upgrade the software.
Yeah, we're seeing the DJs are making money more than the doctors and the lawyers and
right. Yeah. You struggle in school for somebody who doesn't even have a certificate to earn more than you.
Imagine.
And they are your client. They hire you.
Yeah.
Nyasha, imagine.
And they even say, no, they were supposed to pay me $500,000 and they paid me 250. They're crying and you're thinking, wow. So.
Okay, no, African parents, I update the softwares, guys.
I don't have any regrets. I'm actually grateful I went through that because I think I ended up falling in love with the law. I started, going into it, learning a lot. Like when I was still in the law firm, I enjoyed working on divorces the most. So I was even shocked when I came into corporate now and I'm back to drafting contracts. But I'm being honest.
So funny you mentioned divorces.
Yes.
For a friend, what do you enjoy the most about dealing with divorces?
No, I mean when you do law or when you practice law, actually, you have matters that stay in court for 5, 6, 7, 20 years, right? Sure. For me, the law, the divorce cases I actually dealt with, they were quite direct. Yes, it's difficult. Usually when there's big money, those people are not divorcing at all.
Yeah.
So as a lawyer, you get paid just for keeping the
so it's for the
Yes. But then if it's the easy ones as well, they don't take time in court. You just draft the summons, they agree because one is taking the TV, the other one the fridge, and then you're done. And then you go to court, they disagree until they agree, and then you move on. So it's more for the people that are average when it comes to money, it doesn't waste your time.
Yeah.
For the people that have money, you still get paid for keeping the matter in court for such a long time.
Okay, there's a lot we're gonna get into with IIA and but I'm interested. So have you ever handled a case that's against your values as a person?
Well, divorces are against my values.
How so? Do elaborate a bit.
I just think for me, marriage is a forever thing.
True.
I've never been in it, but if I do get in it, it's something that I think is a forever thing for me. I know there are certain circumstances that people face whilst they're in, But then I think I would work to just make, or I'll be more careful before I even get into it.
Thank you.
To make sure that I'm getting into this with someone that actually shares the value of it being a forever thing as well.
Not only that. So there are issues of compatibility, right? And there are issues of visions.
Yes.
The problem is when we grow, imagine you outgrow your parents' beliefs.
Yes.
And your parents find it hard to deal with you.
Yes.
Now imagine a partner, right? You get married very young and then you grow older. As you grow, you explore certain parts about yourself that you yourself don't know.
You don't even know.
Right?
About
And
yourself.
you are still learning to deal with those aspects. And the other person still has to know about your aspects. And they married that Nyasha.
And they are also growing.
They are growing as well.
So you may become the same person, you may stay the same person, but the other party grows and they outgrow in that part of you. So it happens.
Yeah.
That's why I think also getting married later in life could be an advantage. People, they found
And don't
themselves-
encourage. Get married whenever you are ready.
Well,
Preferably in the later days.
people, they found themselves and they know
You
what
see?
they want and they don't want, and But anyway, they say there's no formula to it.
True.
And I believe
That is very true. In community or out of community?
No, it depends.
Okay, on?
It depends on why are you putting me on this one?
No, you know why I'm asking.
Yes.
Because it's important for people to be educated. According to my values, no compromises in community, no matter how much you have. According to my values, right? But when you look at it from a person who did.
Okay, from a legal point
of view,
it's 100% out from a legal point of view. Reasons being, like basic things like buying a house. Now you need 2 signatures. Your partner travels. Now even like it's the basic little things. Opening bank accounts, even when you are getting a loan. Now when you do you are getting a home loan. Your partner has to sign. You are becoming a director in a company. You disclose those things. Are you married in community of property? Who is this person? Now they need the idea of the person who you're married to. And now some partners will be so agitated to say, dude, those are your things. So deal with it. But now they have to be part of it. You get into debt, you're getting into debt together. So no one can rescue anyone in that situation. So legally, I would go with, out of community of property. You love each other. You become transparent with whatever is happening in each other's lives. But then you don't now need to wait for someone else's signature to progress.
Honestly speaking, I never looked at it in that way. Because remember, when we talk out of community of property, the reason why a lot of people frown upon it is because they look at more, you're preparing for divorce. But actually, that's not the case.
It's not.
It's protection of assets.
Logistics, yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
now at least, you have one house in the wife's name, one house in the guy's name. If he's liquidated, your kids have somewhere to stay.
Yes.
He can also find someone to stay. It doesn't affect both parties.
Especially when you have businesses. Especially when you have businesses.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about IIA. I was asking for friends. Let's talk about IIA. What attracted you to IIA? When did you start working for IIA?
So I started working for the IIA on the 4th of April in 2020. Right. I'm clocking 5 years next year.
Yay!
Excited. Yes. So at the time, I was exhausted with practice because I was driving a lot. Like I said, when you work for smaller firms, it's hectic. You wake up on the road, you are appearing in the High Court, you're appearing in the Magistrate Court. Now you have to even run across courts, you have to go to the sheriff and things like that. So I was exhausted, to be honest. That was the reason. I was mostly exhausted of the work that I was doing. Then I'm like, what can I do with the law degree that I have? And then I saw that, you know what, I can actually get into corporate. But I didn't look for the job.
The job looked for you.
The job looked for me because...
Can the jobs locate you in Hallelujah, Jesus' name?
Yes.
The job located you.
Yes. So it was, there's a lady who just called me and said, no, I saw you. I don't know if it was LinkedIn or Postnet. Or one of these. And then she just said, no, your CV is quite interesting. I think this role would work for you. And I'd never thought of getting into corporate like that. Like I thought of moving offices, getting to the bigger firms because there's lesser work. But I didn't think of this. So she said, are you available for an interview? My ex-boss doesn't know this. Then now he's going to find out if he watches.
Ex-boss is too late.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll come for an interview. And also, working for law firms, the money is also not as great.
Obviously.
Yes, so when you get into corporate, you also kind of grow financially. So that's what I looked at. So, but in the moment when she called me, it was more, I need something new. So I took the offer. She invited me to her office. I went there. Then she's like, this job is about 1 to 3. So are you interested? Then I said, yeah. Then she's like, okay, an interview is coming up. It happened so quickly. But it took me 6 months to actually join.
Okay.
Because I think there was a bit of transition going on in the IIA. There was no CEO and things like that. But then, after those 6 months to 9 months, then they called me and they said, you've got the job, come.
You know what? I just want to add something there. This is very educational.
Yeah.
I hosted a webinar. I host webinars every week. And we speak about different things. This particular one, it was about personal branding.
Yes.
And I invited somebody who calls himself a LinkedIn coach. This guy tells you what you should put on LinkedIn, the types of things you should post, how your profile should look like.
Yes.
You know the description underneath your name?
Yes.
What the description has to say and all of that. That guy went and scrutinized my profile on my webinar to 20 billion people that were watching, telling them that this is what you need to look at, this is what you need to look at. Forgetting that the job that I got previously before I started my business, they also poached me through LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's because that's the importance of personal branding, and people don't know that.
Yeah. No, I learned that in that moment to say, how you write about yourself is important.
You can have a lot of qualifications. If you don't brand yourself properly, it's a pointless exercise.
Yeah, so that's how I joined the organization. It was such an amazing shift of my life.
We'll talk a lot about that. Just wait, we have a little bit of time. But this is now outside of your career and everything else. What do you enjoy doing in terms of your hobbies? What do you like?
So I'm actually I'm outgoing. I'm actually growing now, so I'm slowing down a bit. But I'm one person. If they're like, I go to the gym every day.
Okay.
I'm part of a book club. If they're like those obstacle races, I take part in those.
Okay.
I love me an afternoon on a Sunday at a farmer's market. Quite family oriented as well, because our family is quite well knit. As in, like my dad, his siblings, my mom, her siblings, we're like this big family thing. Yes. So we also have that going on. So even birthdays, when it's someone's birthday and there's an event, everyone is there.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that, we are now the adults in the family, so we now need to make sure that things are in place. Everyone is eating and things like that.
Auntie they're waiting for before the meeting starts.
To say, okay, they are the ones that they call. Are the plans going well? Yeah, we are the ones. But so I'm more like, friends. I also have like a number of friends, and I believe in showing up for my friends because they are the family that I chose.
Yeah.
And I think choosing someone to become your family is like a big thing. So I also have like those very close friendships, and they've also become my family, and I've also become their family. So their parents even call me without calling them.
Shout out to them. Give them
name
drop.
All my friends, Rukuzo, Pepsi, Patsani, Caroline, Candiero. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard yourself, yeah.
Leah. Now they're going to watch it, they're like, you forgot me. But it's like that.
That's great. Sure. Then you came into IIA, a very complicated, not so simple structure. You come from a company where board of directors, shareholders sit in the meetings, and they vote, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you come into an organization where 8,000 people have an opinion.
Yes.
How did that change? Like that whole change. Just take me through it. The difference, rather.
So it's totally different worlds, if I'm being honest. Here it's like, when you're in a law firm, you are doing, you get cases, you work on your cases, and that's it. And you talk to the clients and you move on. You just need to make sure that you deliver. When you come to the IIA now, you have more colleagues in the office. Now you need to make relationships with more people. And it's not only the staff members of the IIA, it's also the members of the IIA. Yes, you go to the AGMs, even now, especially for me with the board and the board subcommittees, you have also volunteers, and then sometimes also the regional committee members. Now you have to speak to those people, you have to give them an ear, you also need to be careful on what you're saying on behalf of the IIA, because you're representing a brand that if you make one mistake in what you say, it can affect 8,000 people, like you said. So you don't take it lightly because it involves a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the transition for me, I think the part that I left out is when it came to even the duties that were there was minute taking. So I think when God is actually just trying to mold you into, like, to prepare you for your next step, you get into things that you never thought. So even our law firm, we were just hired to take minutes in this other organization's board meeting. So they said, no, can you guys do our board packs and stuff like that? So my boss took it. I was also very surprised. Then he said, you have to run with this, whilst I was still in the law firm. So even on the requirements now for the new job, I had experience in that.
Yes.
I had board experience, board pack, putting together experience and the minutes and everything. So I actually saw that, you know what, sometimes you're prepared for the next thing, but you're not even aware of it. So I came to the IIA at the time. I think Charles Nell was the acting CEO. And then Julius Mujapelo then joined literally a month after I joined the IIA.
Both of you were new.
We were both new. But then one thing about Julius likes doing the work. Yeah. So Julius is one of those people, you will learn from him, but you may not learn from him because if he sees that you're struggling, he's quick to help. Yes. He doesn't put you in the deep end to make you make mistakes, and then he will kind of cover for you, and then so you have to make sure whilst he's doing it, you are learning. Because now Julius left, and then, you know.
That's true.
Yes. So now for the people that didn't get to learn what their job was about after he left, I think it was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough because there was the office of the CEO, and in that office was Julius, there was Nomusa and myself. So we used to have those. I think he had weekly check-ins with everyone as well. But in those weekly check-ins, we made sure we asked the questions. And even when Julius said, no, Nyasha, let me do this for you, I would be like, no, let me do it. Then you review it. And then, So I learned quite a lot at the time. And then, so at the time we joined as well, finding a board pack was difficult, like just to see how it was being done before.
Was there no secretary before you?
No, there was, but I don't know what happened. I think there was a technical glitch somewhere. So we did not, or people were on paper maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue. And I started during COVID. So everything was online now. And there was no Dropbox or nothing. So we started on the cloud at that time. There was no board pack, there was no minutes, there was nothing. We started afresh.
Sure.
Yes. So even, so it was that hectic. So even now, when we trace back to the information that we actually have, it's more from when we started putting things on the cloud, and it's when Julia started. Because now he put structures in place. Now we could say we've got a board meeting, and even the board members were happy to say, guys, it's been a while since we actually had so much order in our meetings, and now the meetings are flowing. So it was really, like, I learned a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the AGMs.
Yes.
Take us through the process. Firstly, let's start by explaining the importance of AGMs, especially attending an AGM as a member.
Yes.
The reason why I'm asking these questions, we have a lot of members that do not participate in anything that's happening in IIA at all. They are members, they pay membership for them. Yay, it's great. But then what are the great benefits of attending AGMs? Is it a right for a member? Is it a privilege? Is it a need? Is it a must? What is it? Like, let's just explain that.
So the members need to understand that the AGM is for the members. It's not for us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't understand, if we are not taking your calls during the day, during the working hours, during the year, the AGM is the day that you come and you call us to order to say, guys, you are there because of us. I have requested, even if you have proof, you have a right to say, I've requested for 1, 2, 3, I didn't get it. Or I was invoiced twice, or money was debited from my account twice, or whatever. But we do have an agenda for the AGM. So the most important things on the agenda is actually the board nomination, right? So that's where we nominate our boards. The process is quite long because we start preparing 4 months before the AGM.
Okay.
Yes. So now people just see the slate at the AGM and they say, oh, okay, there's number 1, 2, 3, 4 people.
How did they choose them?
How do they choose them, right? So it starts 4 months prior. We even put it on the board agenda to say at the next AGM, what's on the agenda, right? Then that's where we will start working backwards to say, these are the things on the agenda. We need new external auditors. We need new board appointments. We are talking about financial statements as well. So even that time, the auditors are already starting with the job. We also have the whole issue of membership fees. That's also whether we are going to request for an increase or not, what is taken into account and everything. So those things start 4 months before. You take it to the audit committee, and the audit committee says, no, why do you want to increase the membership fees for the members? Members are already paying a lot, or members are paying too little, Those discussions happen. They are also internal auditors.
Yes.
So they also have to act in the best interest of everyone because they are representing all the members.
Right? You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
An AGM for auditors.
Yes, and they audit everything. So, those are the most, I will use the word lit. Those are the most lit, those are the most lit meetings, because even from an external auditor's point of view, to say, what have they been doing? Have we actually checked their work? How are we saying they're performing or they're not performing, right? What is the normal amount of time external auditors should audit? Because at the end of the day, you also need to rotate.
Yeah.
Because in terms of good governance, yes. Also the fees and everything like that. So even at that time, the call for external auditors goes out. You receive maybe 100 people bidding for that.
Some of them don't even qualify.
Now you need to shortlist. Yes. So now the shortlisting that goes on. Did they hand in everything? Did they not? Okay, how much are they charging us? It's a lot of things. You go to the board nominations. This year, we received 157 nominations, but of the 157 nominations, 56 were actually the nominees. So some people were nominated a number of times, right? So nominations are the total amount. Then the nominees are the number of people that were actually nominated. And then when you check those people, now there's a criteria that you now check to say, how many people out of these 57 actually meet the criteria, right? And then you shortlist again. And then from those that meet the criteria, we request for CVs to say, from these CVs, which ones would are best suited for what we are looking for, the kind of expertise we want on the board, the kind of experience we are looking for, the kind of, so we look at different things like even the race, the gender, because we want a balance of everything. We want a balance of expertise as well. Even private sector, public sector. Yes. So we look at all of those things. So that's work that's being put, that by the nominations committee. External audit, that's the audit risk and finance committee. The financials, audit risk and finance committee. So the amount of ad hoc meetings we actually have between when we start preparing the AGM and the AGM, it's shocking.
Okay, so there are a few questions, a lot of questions that I have.
Yes.
And this is for the interest of people that will be attending the AGM.
Yes.
But before that, what are the key committees that IIA actually have, and what are the criteria to be part of those particular committees? Before we can speak about nomination of board members, because I want them to know who is making the decisions.
Or in terms of the AGM.
Yeah, in terms of in general, what committees, like governing committees, governance committees rather, that we have in the IIA.
Okay, so we have the Audit Risk and Finance Committee.
It's one committee.
Yes, that's one committee. But then now the board is looking to remove the finance from the committee. Yes,
I agree.
Yes, so that's what. I'm sure you've heard that we are restructuring the organization. Yeah. So those are the other things that are being looked at. We have the HR committee. So it's been the Human Resources and Leadership Development Committee, right? But then it's going to be Human Resources, and then leadership is going somewhere else.
Okay.
And then we have the Social and Ethics Committee, right? That one deals with our our social impact. Yes. Like how we are giving back. Yes, how we are giving back to the nation as the Institute of Internal Auditors. Then we have the Nominations Committee. That's the one that deals with the board nominations. It deals with review of the MOIs, review of the bylaws, that's the nominations committee. And then which ones did I leave? Okay, so we also have the other committees. These are not like so those are group committees, the ones that I just told you about. So we share that with our subsidiary.
Okay.
So the academy
That's
also.
the academy, yeah.
Yes, so we have representatives from the academy and we have representatives from the IIA side. And then we have also professional development. We have that one. So that one.
Very important committee.
Yes, it's very important because it does also the reviews. They also write articles. They do research, right? Yeah.
So who sits on these committees? We're just kind of painting a picture before we go down to what happens in the AGM so that we can have at least a common understanding as to who's who where.
Yes.
As by who, I'm not referring to the name of the person, but rather the type of people that sits on these particular committees. So who sits on all these committees? Do we have members there, or is it just IIA, or do we have non-execs?
So on those members, I'm the secretariat of all the board committees. Yes.
Do you have a team?
Okay, so I have one lady that's helping me. Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. We are also looking to also capacitate my office because we are realizing that it's actually a lot of work. Because I'm a bit particular in terms of putting packs together and also the quality of the minutes that you send to the members, the quality of the action points that you send out, because it will reflect on me.
Absolutely.
Because it's my responsibility. So I'm also trying to learn to delegate because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to certain things.
Yes, your student.
Yeah, I think this is the Julius culture. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be like,
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so I'm one of those. Can you do these minutes? And then if you don't do them well, I can be like, okay, check these things, and then if you come back and you don't do it, like I end up just doing it.
I'm actually exactly like that.
Because I also feel like there's time constraints. I need to make sure the HR committee pack is going out, the board pack is going out, and things like that.
That you don't trust them, right? When there's a goal in mind, there are two things. The onus is on the person that's actually supposed to do the work. They're not saying that you're doing a bad job. They're saying this is how it needs to be done. Learn from it. So some people, when you do that, they pull back and they don't do anything. They're like, oh no, they're doing the job, but they start feeling sorry for themselves, of which that's not the case. In cases where committees need to get minutes, drafts, and everything else, and there's always a deadline and crunch point, and you know how members are in the board.
And when I sit in the meetings, they don't ask you if your assistant says let you down. It's you, Nyasha. Where are the minutes?
Exactly.
Nyasha, where are the
like this?
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I try and just make sure the board has what it has to do, because at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure that the board has everything it should have in order to make decisions regarding the organization.
Okay, let's go back to the question of who sits in these committees. You know why I'm asking also?
Yes.
Obviously for career purposes, like people that want to uplift, right, their careers.
Yes.
Obviously they want to know if I can be part of this committee so that it can reflect on my CV. Even me as an external person who's also a retired auditor, which committee can I sit on if I'm a member, things like that. So that's why I'm asking who sits on these committees, so that if there's an opportunity that they don't know about, at least they can know that there's a possibility of them being part of something besides regions, and which are equally important as well.
Yes. So basically, in terms of the core committees that I've mentioned, those ones are board committees. It's only board members that sit there.
Okay.
So, but then when we look at the audit, actually we've put a structure where we don't want the chairpersons to sit in any of the committees.
Makes sense.
If they do sit, they are not chairs.
They're members.
Yes, they
are attendees.
No, they come as members of the committee, but then they don't chair them.
Okay.
This is to avoid them actually getting into the board meeting and they already have a side when it comes to what's on the agenda. So we have the past chair, James Gura, is the one that's chairing the HR committee, as well as he's on the HR and the nominations committee. Yes. And then on the audit committee, we have Thokozani Sitlangu. He's been chairing, I think, for the past 4 years as well. But I think on our slate for this year, he's running for deputy chair. Okay. Yes. And then in those committees as well, we have Lusanda Ngoliwe sitting on the nominations committee. We also have members from the academy, like I mentioned. And then our CEOs, Aline and Shelin. So Shelin sits on the Leadership Academy as the CEO. Aline is the IIA SA CEO. they sit on all these board committees because their input in these decisions is very important.
After all, they're operational. So.
Yes, so they need to provide the context
Absolutely.
to the board so that the board just doesn't make decisions that are not informed.
Can I just say, I'd like to send my sincere apologies to the board. You guys have...
No, they do. They actually do. Yeah. So
you guys have a lot of work. I didn't know that board members sat on so many committees.
No, they sit on those committees, and then the ones that have volunteers, like you said, we also have the regional committees. There, you can just raise your hand up when you do the AGMs for the regions, and then you sit on those committees.
Okay.
But the board committees, we make sure we allocate members equally to say if you're a member of the board, at some point we have 3, but now we are cutting to 2 because we have also kind of cut down on our board structure.
Okay, so what are the common discussions at the AGM?
At the AGM, I think as I mentioned, it's number 1, the nominations of board members, right? We have the appointment of external auditors. We have the appointment of auditor, approval of our financials. And then we have the amendments to the bylaws or the MOI.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's start with the appointment of the board members.
Yes.
This year,
how
many board members are we looking for?
This year we are only looking for 2.
Okay,
yes.
That's not bad.
Yes, it's not bad because I think last year we actually had a lot of people resigning because I'm sure you know at the time, a lot of people actually relocated, funny enough. There was a lot of relocation that happened. And also some people got new jobs and then now they had to, invest a lot of time in the new jobs and they couldn't.
And to be fair, it was after COVID.
Yes.
Because 2022, that's when, let's say the beginning of 2023, that's when things started to stabilize a bit.
Yeah.
Then there was a lot of mobility in terms of careers and jobs and all of that. So we're looking for 2 board members. What are the structures? What are the criteria? And in terms of the nomination committee, and how is this whole thing decided?
Okay, so what happens is we send a call for nominations. We don't just nominate members. We send a call out. I'm sure members would have received that call for nominations. The call goes out. This year, we only sent a call out in 1 week. We said the deadline is after 7 working days. I automatically put the close on the form at 11
at the AGM.
11:59. Yeah, so if you don't make it within the time slot, unfortunately, you don't make it.
No, it helps for getting spoiled ballots, spoiled nominations, having to deal with unnecessary nominations.
It doesn't help,
No, that's good.
So we did, funny enough, over the years, we would make the call go for 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
This year, we did 1 week. And in that 1 week, we got the highest number of nominations.
You lie.
I'm telling you. On the day we sent out the call, I received more than 20 nominations. Yep. It was on a Friday. And then
a Friday?
Yeah, it was on a Friday, I remember. And then we ran the next week until the end of that week. We got a number of nominations. So we got up to 157. After that, we shortlisted, and then so the nominations committee actually does most of the work in terms of the nominations of board members because they come up with the criteria, the board approves the criteria.
What's the criteria?
So the one important criteria that's actually noted in the MOI is that the member has to be a member in good standing.
Okay.
Yes, so you have to be paid up. That's the first thing. But now the nominations committee is also given the authority to now put the finer details of when the person is in good standing, what else are we looking for to make sure that the person is a good fit for the board, right? So this year we looked for, it's actually a new requirement going forward. You have to be a CIA. It's non-negotiable. So we did get nominations where people have MBAs and CIA.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a CIA qualifications. That's the bare minimum.
Here's a question. Prior to CIA being famous, we had PIA.
Yes.
Right? And right now, I'm not sure if it's still there. If you have a PIA, you can have that managers something certification course, something like that. So if they have something equivalent to
the
a
PCIA, I think that's the one you're looking for.
PCIA.
Yes.
So if you have something equivalent to that, does that still apply?
Yes, it does apply. Okay. So we said on our criteria, CIA or PCIA.
Yeah.
Right, and then you qualify. If you don't have it, because usually we get CASAs, we get MBAs like masters qualifications, we get doctors, but they don't have that qualification. This year we've said for the special expertise we need on the board, it's going to be a different call.
Yeah.
That's where we have the lawyers that if we want a legal mind on the board, we make a separate call for that.
Okay.
It's not for the internal
So it's no
auditors.
longer that we want a blend of expertise.
Yes.
We want this, we want that. This time around, we say we want specifically, you're looking for a CIA. If you want a lawyer, you will have a different call for that.
Yes.
That's perfect.
But then you can also have a CIA and also have an LLB, but what we are looking for is the CIA.
Okay.
So that's how we went about it. That's number one. Number two, we said that now we're looking for people with also board experience. We said we are looking for people that are well seasoned. They've served on committees. Either you have board experience or you have board subcommittee.
I was about to ask, what about those that have worked in regions?
Yes. So even if you check the code, it actually says preference will be given to people that have served on the committees.
I like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
on
their
the
work is not in vain.
It's not in vain because we already know them as well as the management.
And they understand the structures of IIA and how it works. You don't have to teach them something new.
And when they come to the board, they actually know what they're going to ask to be put on their agenda.
Yeah.
So also those people have preference, right? So we have that, and then we're looking for people that have time to serve. Because sometimes we get people that are nominated or that nominate themselves. They sit on the board and they're dormant. They don't do anything. And it's difficult, especially for me in my role as the company secretary, because for every meeting, I have to see that we have a quorum. And then some of these people, they cannot attend meetings. And some of the people who attend meetings, but they're on mute the whole time, they don't contribute. So we are looking for people that are willing to serve, that have the time to serve as well.
You deserve something strong.
Yeah, no, you're getting a quorum has been the most hectic thing, yes. So you have that, and then we also looked at so in terms of being a volunteer on the IIA as well, you need to get a letter from your employer to show that you have the approval for you to actually serve, so that they understand that when you say I've got a subcommittee meeting, they know they approved for you to serve as a volunteer. So we need those letters also especially because we contract with the government. So they say that, number one, our members are volunteers, they don't get paid. But however, they also want to make sure that the employer is saying, yes, this person can serve as a volunteer. They don't eat into the time of the organization without the organization knowing.
Okay.
And then, that part that you already covered, people that are also serving in the profession. It may not be the subcommittees, but when we have like our conferences, public sector conference, the AGMs, when we have the national conference, when we have the AFIA conferences, the people that actually participate in those things will be like, no, this person has been a speaker. We know them. They have contributed in this way. This person is doing outreach to universities about internal audit. Yeah, so we look at
Makes sense. Okay. Yes. So those are the criteria.
Yes,
okay. I think that narrows it down nicely, because every single person thought, because if I'm nominated, the nomination committee knows that I have experience, I have PhD, I have this and this and this. If you ask you, have you served anywhere, and
then they're
like, no, do you have board experience? And to be fair, one of the ways in which, because I like to believe that most subcommittees or committees or board committees that are out there that are looking for non-execs, they want to know if you have board experience. And your first step to doing it is serving here in IIA. And then when you actually present your CVs to those particular municipal committees where you actually get paid for it, it's easier. So this is a stepping stone career-wise.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Okay, great.
And there's so much experience in those committees, very much experience. Like I have also learned, if I'm ever to be a board member for any other organization, I now know what's expected of an audit committee member, what's expected of a nominations committee member, and things that I think I would give so much because of the amount of knowledge I've gained from just sitting in those meetings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the AGM is coming up. We have the nomination committee. We're looking for 2 members. You have 145 applications, and everybody narrows it down. So how does the nomination committee come about, actually?
So we start from 157. Then we say, no, this person was nominated 10 times, but it's one person. Then we are like, okay, the total number of nominees is 57. Try and find on the 57. We still had people that are still studying CIA nominating themselves or being nominated. They are not considered. We remove those people.
What if they are part of the regional committees?
No. The standard qualification is the CIA.
I hear you.
Yeah, so you can be serving there. It's going to be beneficial to you when you are done with your CIA, right? So who does not have a CIA, we remove. right?
That must have been a lot of removals, okay?
Yeah, no, it was hectic.
But wait, so after you remove them, is there some form of communication you give them that your application was unsuccessful?
No, communication will go out, but remember, when we are doing all of this, we also don't want to preempt who's going to make it to the slate, right? And also, whilst we are shortlisting, the board hasn't approved. You don't tell people that
you've been rejected.
Yes, when the board does not even know about it.
Hectic.
So it's only now that we have a slate, and the slate will be taken to the AGM. Then we thank everyone that took part and encourage them to come back next year. We let them know to say, this was the criteria. You are still a student, you don't qualify. Or, yes, you do have a IIA SA, but you don't have CIA. You are a doctor, you're a professor, but you do not have what?
A CIA.
The CIA, yes.
Okay.
And then also the whole aspect of you have to be in good standing. So we have a very good nominees that we received, but they are not in good standing, but they are directors, they are leaders. So you need to match, and probably it's because they don't have time to check their membership.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't.
It's a time issue. It's not that they don't have the money, but they just don't have the time. Even though we send multiple membership renewal emails, people just don't have the time to do it.
So, okay, so now you've narrowed it down. What is the maximum number of nominations can we have that will be presented to the AGM for voting?
So this year we've come up with a list of 9 members. Out of the 150.
Are they also announced prior to the time?
No. Oh, no.
Do you find out before at the AGM or before the AGM or who the nominees are?
No, right now in the pack, you have the names of the...
Hectic!
Yes.
Okay.
So the moment we take the shortlist to the board, the nominations committee has to explain to the board the whole process that was followed. Because the board is responsible ultimately when it comes to nominations or anything that goes to the AGM. The board as a whole. There is no committee that can make decisions without the board's approval and take it to the members, right? So the nominations committee comes with a slate and says, okay, for a board chair this year, we are going with this person because of 1, 2, 3. They have served on these committees. They've sat on the board for this long. Because remember, for the board chair and board deputy chair, you should have served a full term for you to be eligible. 2 years.
Okay.
For you to be eligible. And then once you have served a full term, now you can be considered for it. But the nominations committee now sits and says, Nyasha has been on the board for those 2 years. What has she done? Is she attending meetings? No, she's not. Is she participating in the meeting? No, she's not. Therefore, we cannot recommend her for a board chair or board deputy chair. Yeah. So when you see the people that are actually recommended for the chair and the deputy chair, it's because those people are actually participating in the committees. They actually attend the board meetings themselves and they participate. And now
in art subcommittees as well.
Yes.
So they're contributing a lot.
Yes, they are contributing a lot. So that's when they say, okay, Nyasha, sit down and write the number of meetings each committee has had, which committee members attended which meetings, right? I have to create that. Like the whole slate to say, Lusanda attended X amount of meetings. Lusanda was participative or she was quiet or those things.
Here's a question now. Is this information on the day of the AGM presented to the members on what qualified candidate A, candidate B for board chair and vice chair?
Yes. So when you actually go to the slate, that's part of the AGM pack. We have what we have actually done is even for our nominees, the 9 people I just told you about, we ask them for their bios, right? Then they write short biographies. Then they also give us their CVs. Then we draft like a short bio that the members can read and nominate. Instead of members, this is something that I want to encourage the members as well to say, please don't nominate people because you know them. Read those bios and see the people that can actually add more value to the institute. Instead of saying, I know Masego and I want to support Masego, so Masego is going. I'm going to nominate them. No, we are looking for more than that. We are looking for people that are going to bring so much knowledge to the institute, so much that it's going to benefit you as the members at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so we are done with the nominations.
Yes.
I think we've given enough information.
Yes.
If at all you'd like us to speak a lot more about nomination, put it down there in the comment section. Yeah. We'll have Nyasha and I can talk the whole year.
The whole year.
So we'll have this conversation again and we'll take it back to the aliens and stuff. It's possible. So the second agenda item, I'm not going to talk about the approval of the financial statements. Reason being, I'm going to have an interview with Aline and the CFO.
Okay.
Right? All right? So now what we need to talk now about the most, right, is the nomination of the audit committee.
Okay.
Sorry, external auditors, right?
Oh, it's not.
Because I think I saw a call
Yes.
for external auditors.
Yeah.
Right? How long do we keep external auditors? Do we change them every year, every 5 years? What's the contract?
So the contract is actually 3 years, but renewable annually.
So it's possible that we can kick them out.
Yes, that's a possibility. So that's why at every AGM, we come back to the members and say,
Are we happy?
are we happy or
Yeah.
are we not? Right.
Yeah.
So the current external auditors have actually clocked their 3rd year this year.
Okay, that's why you need to change.
Yes. So the audit committee took that into account. It also reported the board, and the board approved that we go with like new auditors as well. Good corporate governance, because it's important to make sure that we don't get people that have relationships with the IIA.
Yes.
They come and they
already have information.
They say everything is okay. Yeah. We need new eyes that will come and say, no, last time it wasn't done well because of 1, 2, 3. These are the changes that are there and things like that.
So in terms of the AGM, when obviously there's a pack that is being sent to them, I'd like to believe the nominations for the audit committee, the new audit committee. No, man. Why do I keep saying audit committee?
The external
auditors.
Yes.
So in terms of I'd like to believe we do have the names of the external auditors that we will be voting for.
Yes.
Or are we voting for a resolution to change?
No. So annually we vote for external auditors. So it's either we are saying reappointment or we are saying appointment. So this year it's appointment, it's not reappointment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means we have a list of qualifying external auditors.
So we narrowed it down based on the same process that we go with the board nominations. We get a CVs, we request for certain info, their financials, their audited financials as an accounting firm, right? The other organizations that they are servicing. Because we also need to make sure that when we are appointing these people, they also have knowledge of working on non-profit organizations, right?
It's a different ballgame.
It's a different ballgame.
Completely,
If an external auditor is auditing a law firm, then we give them an NPO when they don't have that experience. Now they have to learn on us. But we don't have the luxury of making other people work on our time, because we need to give the best to our members, right? So we look at their profile. The audit committee goes through all the profiles only for the shortlisted ones, because if there are certain requirements, I think the CFO and the CEO will now speak to the requirements that we looked at when it comes to the external auditors as well. And then those people, they hand in their profiles, they hand in the people they're servicing, how they've been doing and all of that. And then the audit committee now approves, takes it to the board and says, we got 5 nominations, 3 were shortlisted. Out of the 3, the best one is this one. Why? Because whether it's the price that they're charging us, the experience that they have, the expertise we are looking for, the exposure that they have in terms of non-profit organizations, things like that.
Okay.
Yes.
So we spoke about 2 types of nominations that we're going to have in this AGM. We have the members, the board members, and the appointment of the new external auditors.
Yes.
So what would happen in a situation where there's a tie between, let's say, for example, we had 9 nominations for board members, right?
Yes.
And for external auditors, we have 3.
Yes.
Right? What if there's a tie between some of them, but leading up to appointment? What does the board do, or what
in terms of
the actual AGM where we're nominating?
Yes.
So say, for example, the nine members that we have, 1
is
2,
number 1, number 2 is 2
people, yes, or 2 number 1s, and but either way, then what happens in that scenario? Same thing applies to appointment of external auditors.
Okay, so when it comes to the nominations of board members, actually, I think let me start there.
Yeah.
The appointment of the board members, right? What we do is the board, actually, the MOI states that we have a minimum of 10 members, a maximum of 17, right? So right now we are on 13, and the board decided, you know what? With the amount of committees we have and everything that we're doing, 13 members is enough. So now it's up to the members to now decide, before we go to the AGM, to say, are we going to add, because there's still 3 seats that are available, whether they would want to take the 3 or whether they would like to renominate. We send another, on the same day, we open another form and say, there's Masego, there's Nyasha, who do you prefer? Members vote again, then we get a number.
Same day?
Yes, on the same day.
Okay.
Because when we leave the AGM, we know who our board members are.
Perfect. Yeah. And then what about the external auditors?
Well, external auditors, we are only recommending 1 external audit firm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So only 1.
Only 1. The same thing we've done with the board chair and the board deputy chair. This year on the slate, we have one board chair nomination and we have one deputy chair.
So what will happen? I like being the devil's advocate.
Yes.
So what will happen if most of the members are in disagreement with the chair
Of the board.
So, let's say
yes,
30% is for
yes,
and 70% is against.
I think it actually takes us back to what happened last year when we requested for...
Explain the dangers of doing such. I think let's explain the dangers of doing such, because I like to believe one of the reasons why that resolution was reached and a lot of people were against it is like there was no information and context as to what's happening. It's only at the AGM after we networked, we spoke, that like, no, this was the issue. I'm like, why didn't you tell us? We are going to vote for it, because if it's that much of a concern, it means Tepo needs to serve for one more year when he shouldn't. We were supposed to know, because it made it look as if, so let's say, for example, they are against.
Yes.
Let's take them back to the dangers of not voting for this chair. We're not saying we are forcing you to vote for this chair, but we're just showing you the repercussions of not voting for the chair.
So basically, for a chair or a deputy or any other recommendation we are bringing before the members is less than 50 plus 1. It means that it's not approved, right? Yes. So let's say the board chair post is not approved. It's got 49% people for and 39 against and 9% abstaining. It means now you leave the power in the hands of the board, because the MOI actually states that if there is a vacancy on the board, the members have the board members themselves have the authority to co-opt someone to occupy that vacancy. So that means we have a board chair vacancy on the board. So highly likely the board, because it already approved that this person would probably say, they would still co-opt the same person, and that.
But they are not officially appointed according.
And then when someone is co-opted in a vacancy on the board, they are only co-opted for a year. So the normal term for a board chair or a board deputy chair is 2 years. That's a term. The same term for any board member sitting on the board is 2 years. So now, instead of them sitting for 2 years, they're only co-opted. No. They're only co-opted for 1 year. But we don't take it as a term because it's a co-option.
Yes.
Right. So even if we come back next year and we now say we are putting forward Lusanda to be appointed as a chair, then the members vote in favor. Lusanda now can start her 2 years from that moment going forward. So the co-option is only an interim solution for the board to be able to work only for a year until the next AGM.
Okay, I think we got a lot of information.
Yes.
We've got so much information. Let's meet at the AGM on the 21st of November at Liberty. Please make sure that you attend. And for those that cannot make it, because South Africa is big, obviously, the earth is not flat.
It's round.
It's round. I stand by my statement. The earth is not flat, it's round. So we have people from different parts of the world that are still part of IIA. There are people that are traveling because of they work for firms. They're in Amsterdam, Netherlands, UK. You can still join the AGM online. It's important for you to attend an AGM as a member. Please tell them why, so that they can know they can come and attend.
No, your vote is your voice. I think that's the most important thing.
You sound like EFF.
Yeah.
You should have been a politician.
You see why I was saying I want to do politics. So your vote is your voice. If you don't vote, other people will do it for you.
Absolutely.
And they will vote for things that
you don't like.
Maybe I can throw in the issue of proxy forms also.
Please.
Yes. So if you can't also attend the AGM, whether virtually or in person on the day, the AGM pack has actually gone out with the proxy form. Today, right now, you can sit down and say, I'm giving Nyasha my proxy. I'm not a member, by the way. So you are giving your colleague or your friend who is an IIA SA member in good standing. It's important to note, members, that the people that everyone who participates should be in good standing.
Yes.
If that person is not paid up, don't give them your proxy, because it won't count. Right? So if you give that person a proxy, you decide, are you giving Masego a proxy just to attend? Or are you giving a proxy to then nominate for you the external auditors, the board members, the new the approval of the financials, everything, or you already do it on the proxy form. And then if you do it on the proxy form, before we even consider the votes on the day, we already have the proxy votes that would have counted to say in favor of external auditors. We have already received 5 or not. But it's up to you whether you want to give the person full proxy or you just want them to give them a limited proxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. 21st of November. What time?
We are starting at 1 and it ends at 4.
Okay, from 1 until 4, there's free food.
Yes, we do have a networking session where we have cocktails and finger foods.
I'll be there, whether they like it or not.
Oh, we like it.
I'll be there with Kabelo, the
We
camera
like it.
zooming in on the people's faces. Like, this board member for who?
Yes.
But nonetheless, it's very important to attend, especially as a member. There are multiple governing bodies out there. I'm also part of Comensa, which is Coaches and Mentors of South Africa. They always call AGMs every now and then. You have to be part and parcel of the career or the profession that you're actually part of. And when opportunities like that are presented, it's important for you to attend. So without wasting any time, we are done with this. I'm pretty sure. Nyasha, can you please do another interview?
That's fine. I'm
absolutely.
open to that.
2025, Nyasha will be on our screen again. Don't worry about it. But then in the interest of time, because we are over time, thank you for watching INbrief. Thank you for watching until the end. So you will get that one CPD point that you've been looking for because you were at 39. So congratulations for making it. So now you have one more CPD point. If you're watching on YouTube, do not forget to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, feedback is the breakfast of champion. I think this meeting was very important because we needed to educate members of what happens in the AGMs. And I think one of the reasons why participation was low, one of the reasons why we had so many resolutions that were never approved, there were no appointments, they had abstains, we had, against. Now we have a little bit more, not even a little bit, we have a lot more context as to what happens in our AGM. So please make sure that you do definitely attend. Let's meet at Liberty. I will be there whether they like it or not. And then we are going to network. Let's have fun. For the interest of our own career, we are the holders. We are contributing towards the internal audit profession in the country, South Africa. So thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I'm not going to ask her to make parting words because she's going to come back again. She's going to come back. When she comes back, she'll give us parting words. So without wasting any time, thank you for watching. Let's meet again on the next episode. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.